Six lanes, tail lights, red ants marching into the night. They disappear to the left and right again. Another supper from a sack, a 99-cent heart attack. I got a pounding head and an aching back, and the camel's buried in a big straw stack. I'm gonna live where the green grass grows, watching my corn pop up in rows. Every night be tucked in close to you. Raise our kids where the good Lord's blessed, point our rocking chairs towards the west, and plant our dreams where the peaceful river flows, where the green grass grows. Well, I'm from a map dot, a stop sign on a black top. I caught the first bus I could hop from there. But all of this glitter is getting dark. There's concrete growing in the city park. I don't know who my neighbors are, and there's bars on the corners and bars on my heart. But I'm gonna live where the green grass grows, watch my corn pop up in rows. Every night be tucked in close to you. Raise our kids where the good Lord's blessed, point our rocking chairs towards the west, plant our dreams where the peaceful river flows, where the green grass grows. I'm gonna live where the green grass grows, watch my corn pop up in rows. Every night be tucked in close to you. Raise our kids where the good Lord's blessed, point our rocking chairs towards the west, and plant our dreams where the peaceful river flows. Whoa, where the green grass grows. You always had an eye for things that glitter, but I was far from being made of gold. I don't know how, but I scraped up the money. I just never could quite tell you no. Just like when you were leaving Amarillo, take that new job in Tennessee. And I quit mine so we could be together. I can't forget the way you looked at me. Just to see you smile, I'd do anything that you wanted me to. When all is said and done, I'd never count the cost. It's worth all that's lost, just to see you smile. When you said time was all you really needed, I walked away and let you have your space. Oh, leaving didn't hurt me near as badly as the tears I saw rolling down your face. yesterday I knew just what you wanted, but you came walking up to me with him. So I told you that I was happy for you, and given the chance I'd lie again, just to see you smile. I'd do anything that you wanted me to. When all is said and done, I never count the cost. It's worth all that's lost, just to see you smile. Just to see you smile. I'd do anything that you wanted me to. When all is said and done, I never count the cost. It's worth all that's lost, just to see you smile.
Ooh, such a good song. Oh my goodness. If you're here live with us on stream, you were listening to some good old classic Tim McGraw. Yes, indeed. I felt like it was a nice alignment with where stream is heading. We started with Where the Green Grass Grows. If you know it, you know it. Classic country, and I feel like it fits the vibe of where we're headed. And then Just to See You Smile just came on as a little added bonus. If you know Tim McGraw, then you know. If not, then maybe you should check it out. If you're not a fan of country, then I mean, don't listen to it because you won't like it. But if you are and you enjoy country, go check it out. Anyway, hello, welcome in. It is so good to see you. Welcome. How the heck are we doing? How is life? How are we feeling? How has our week been? Tell me all the things. I hope that you've been well. If it's been a minute since I've seen you, what have you been up to? I hope that you've been taking good care of yourself, whatever you've been doing. If this is one of your first times tuning in, welcome in. Howdy neighbor, as they say. Nice to have you here. Super glad to see you, make your acquaintance. I'm just me, a painfully awkward normal person. So yeah, just I hope you enjoy. Welcome for reals though. It's good to see you guys. Today is an important day. This is where my content officially pivots. So yeah, bookmark it, put it in the scrapbook. I don't know. It's an important day. This is the day the stream is officially pivoting. Like, we've talked about it for over a year, but especially the last year, I've been really talking about it. And it's finally 2026. It's finally here and happening. I'm super excited for it. We're going to be learning a lot of things first and foremost. Lots of education, lots of educating each other, finding good resources for things, all sorts of stuff, which we're going to start today. Don't worry, we're diving into all of that. But yeah, it's been a long time coming. So anyways, about my scheduling, things will get more regulated in a bit. I have some announcements to make in the next month or so, which I will be, so it'll make more sense why I can't exactly fix my schedule at the moment, but don't worry. Nevertheless, pay attention to Discord, pay attention to Patreon. Those are your free resources, literally free, so that you can figure out what my schedule is for the week, what I'm doing, where we're going, all of that kind of stuff. But I will be attempting to do earlier streams like today. So you can look forward to that. Another thing is streams, in case you guys didn't already know this, will be moving over to our primary YouTube channel. I have to fix all the linkages in here in my stream deck, so I can't plug them right now. But I'm going to manually type it in real quick for us, so you at least have that. Let's go to the YouTube. And then anyways, so this is where future live streams will eventually exist, but for right now, for this week, we will continue to be on this YouTube channel, but this YouTube will eventually become more of the secondary backup bloopers channel. Maybe we'll do more gaming on here if and when we do gaming, stuff like that. So just be prepared. This is where the channel is moving to officially. If I could hit enter here we go. So yeah, don't worry, I'll put all these links everywhere. I've been updating all of the link trees and all of the things where you can normally find all my stuff, so don't worry, it's all coming into fruition. But that is where things will be, and I'll let you guys all know everywhere publicly, as well as on here, where things are changing over to. So anyhow, that just affects the people who like to watch the live streams on YouTube and or like to watch the VODs on YouTube. And if you're here watching us live, I'm so glad you're here with us. Happy pre-Friday. It is Thursday. It's almost the freaking weekend. Can you believe it? It's the countdown from here, baby. We've got this. We have got this. I'm excited. But anyways, yeah, Friday, good stuff happening. I see some angels already in my chats. I'm excited to talk to you guys. We're going to do a little chit chatting before we jump into things. If you're catching this on a replay though, maybe on the OG YouTube, you know, I don't know, maybe it's a beautiful Saturday for you. Maybe it's a Monday. Who knows? But happy time zone to you. Thank you for being here. Super glad that you're here. All of the good stuff. So anyways, the week has been crazy for me. I hope y'all have been great. Let me know in the comments if you did anything interesting or if you're looking forward to anything maybe coming up this weekend. I was so not smartly. Yes, that's what the word I'm saying. I was so not smartly attempting to cut a frozen loaf of bread. Yes, I was. If you've ever done that, it's pretty much impossible. And instead of cutting the loaf of bread, I filleted my finger open. I cut 2 of them, but the other one's just not as bad. The one though, the meat was moving, and you could I was making it talk and it just kept making me pass out. It was bad. So your girl is really injured, and I'm glad kind of that we're not really doing major gaming or even any actual experimenting with anything yet, because I am one-handed at the moment. So send your healing prayers to me. Maybe I need to learn knife skills and safety skills 101 before we even go into canning. Who knows? Maybe that'll be our next segment, how to use kitchen tools and how to not cut frozen things. Oops. So anyways, that was not good. Not my finest moment, but that's okay. I'm doing all right, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. I got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. We're meeting with someone really important this weekend, which again, I'll be announcing more about later for you guys. Things need to kind of get going before I can officially announce anything. So yeah, lots of things happening. But today we're going to be talking about canning, and then we will jump into some Stardew Valley. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we'll kind of follow this pattern for the next couple of streams, where we'll do the first half of education, whatever we're wanting to learn together, and then the next half we will be gaming, and we'll do that probably for a couple of weeks, and then we'll move into more of like a 70-30 split, and do more like 70% education and then a little gaming, and then ultimately by April we'll just be full into education and experimenting, so taking our theories and actually doing things and figuring all the stuff out. So anyhow, how the heck are you doing, my sweetie Bara in Twitch chat? I saw you. It's so nice to see you. Hi Simon, I think you are still en route and making the journey home, but hello and hi alone. Hello and hello anybody else who is out there. Hello any lurkers, any angels. It's so good to see you. I hope that you're having a fantastic pre-Friday, little Friday, baby Friday, Friday Eve. We're jumping into some fun stuff today. The first full day of the pivot of our brand. You guys are here to witness it. My goodness. Hi Darby Rusk, how are you? How the heck are you doing? It's good to see you. Hi, John. Gonna be on server. Oh my gosh, to extend my streak. What are you at? Like 40 weeks now? 40 streams, not weeks. How does it work? It's streams, right? Because you were at like 30 something the last time we talked about it, yeah? That's amazing. That's so fucking cool. Oh my god, wait, you're freaking waiting for Scream. How exciting. John, you're gonna miss Canning 101. Don't worry, we're gonna continue a little bit of it tomorrow still, but we're talking about the basics of canning today. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I made a little presentation for you guys. I don't want to talk about it, okay? Oh my gosh. I want this. Can I make this full screen? I probably can. You guys don't have to watch me do stuff. I'll figure it out on my own in a second. Anyways, but we're going to have a little agenda to follow, you guys. You've been surviving. Listen, that's the best thing. I was going to say that's more than some of us, but I guess I'm still technically here. So, but I think we're all in that same thing together, just surviving step by step, day by day. Oh my god, I've missed you. I'm glad that you could pop in. It's so nice to see you. Oh my goodness. I hope you love Scream, John. I already know you're going to, if you're still here. Enjoy the heck out of your movie. And if we're still live, I'd love to be able to chit chat. If not, then I hope to see you tomorrow. Oof, how exciting. You guys, if you didn't already know, if you haven't been around, maybe you're new or you're just popping back in after a while, I love horror shows and movies and such. And John is literally a connoisseur, an aficionado, a freaking, basically an expert in my opinion. So, yeah. If you want the scoop, the 411, never mind, I'm not going to say anything else. But if you want any good, I guess you're somewhat biased, obviously. I was going to say unbiased, but good, just straight shot review of something horror-esque, John is your man. I tell you. I do. Look at the pups. They're so excited. The little pups on the farm. How exciting. You guys, are you excited for me to live on a farm one day? Are you guys excited for me to have chickens? Look at Leamington turning his literal head sideways watching me. He is so cute. Holy crap. Anyways, let's jump into it, guys. You already saw a little bit of the preview because I was trying to see if it was already fixed, but it's not. Let's see. I know we go like, isn't it view or something? Let's look before I actually just sit here and try and. It's like not in editing, but it's here. It is view. Fill a screen. That's not really what I want though. Cause then it still shows you guys all this shit, and you don't need this. See, like here's what I have now, guys, which is fine, but like you don't need all this crap at the top, do you? Like that doesn't feel purposeful. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, on full screen mode. Let's see what it says. Browser full screen mode. Can I go F11 and not have it actually show anything? Because that, you guys, I normally check this first thing. Well, I guess there's a time to learn everything. It's so freaking ridiculous. All right, I figured it out. We're good. Now you guys don't have to see that. Okay, so if y'all haven't been around for a minute, first of all, welcome back in. Good to see you. If you're maybe catching this as a replay, ooh, sorry, I didn't know that would make your screen black too. Then maybe you've heard a little bit about what's going on. But okay, this is it. This is us officially switching directions. full pivot, like I've been hinting at for a while now, like we've discussed in many forms for many months. If you've been here through all the many pivots I've had over the years, we've explored a lot together. ASMR, makeup and murder. If you know, you know. OGs, hey, shout out. Experimental ASMR, random creative projects, so much within the ASMR world, honestly. And then we segued to the gaming world and learned a lot about just gaming in general. I had never really played very many video games growing up. I was an outside kid. I was part of that generation where the only thing your parent really said to you was, "Why are you in the house?" If you are familiar, then you know what I'm talking about. But if not, yes, that really existed. That was a thing all the time. And if you were in the house, you were going to be put to work. So it was like, do you want to do chores? And at that time, as a kid, it was like, hell no. Now I'm like, yeah, I'll do chores. Hell yeah. But anyways, but I also like playing outside too. So I guess that's a little bit different. But through all of the pivots and the changes, the breaks, me trying to figure out what I was doing, having just so many different directions, I guess, and trying to really like find where I wanted to land and where things made sense. But I'm genuinely so grateful for every season. Like it's been an interesting and fun and wild ride, but I think this next season just feels more aligned. More aligned with like my goals, especially in the things that I'm working towards in real life. And I think, I mean, from what I've seen anyways, a lot of other people as well, learning those, I guess, kind of basic skills that we never learned as like kids or just even in general at any point in our life, any season. So yeah, anyways, moving forward, Anna by It's Really Anna is going to focus on more, kind of just really lifestyle shifts. And it's going to be content that's centered around sustainability, self-reliance, learning a lot more about non-toxic and healthier living, just in general, non-toxic living, healthier living, learning more practical skills that I think maybe were those things where it's like, oh, everyone learned that as a kid, or, oh, you didn't get taught that? Why? Those kinds of things where I know I can't be the only one out there. So just, learning those practical skills, and then just figuring out everything together. That's what I really want. And I hope that this community can turn into, and this channel direction shift takes us. I want this to be like, a super cool little place that we can just come and not feel like silly or judged or anything like that, but just can like ask questions and learn things together. But yeah, so today and tomorrow's streams will be on this YouTube channel. As I was saying, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching as a replay, people on Twitch and Kick, this will not affect you in any other way. So don't worry about it. But starting next week, everything will be shifting officially to the O.N.U.H YouTube, the Anna YouTube. All of that is linked on the main channel pages and in the link tree, so nothing is disappearing or anything like that. Don't worry. We're just organizing, I think is the best way to say it. Hi MG, how the heck are you doing? Oh, it's so good to see you. Yeah. It's a cool place because you're here. Sheesh. Yeah, it is. I hope you're doing well. It's so nice to see you. So anyways, if you guys have been here for a while, if you're an OG or if you've just been around for a minute, you know that I've really wanted the Anna brand to be about learning things like I'm saying that we didn't maybe learn as kids, maybe things that are kind of common sense to some people, or things that maybe weren't ever passed down to us, knowledge that we just didn't learn. Maybe your family just wasn't into these types of things at all, or maybe you didn't have family. That's very possible as well. So that was my situation. So anyways, I obviously, didn't have a lot of these things and these resources and knowledge, I should say, around as a kid, because times were different. I grew up in the 90s, man. So anyways, but no one really taught me how to like preserve food. No one really explained what like self-reliance actually looks like, or, what like that kind of everyday self-reliance looks like in practical terms. No one really walked me through how to like stock a pantry or how to organize your fridge, like just super basic to meet, I think, things. No one really taught me how to like reduce toxins and avoid just super over processed things in my life, or how to prepare for like disruptions or shortages or just things like that. So anyways, instead of, I guess, pretending I know everything, we are just going to learn it together. We're going to have questions. I know I am for sure. You guys probably are too. But I just want this community to really be about growth, not perfection, not aesthetics, just regular, normal people growth. Which brings us to March. Boop, boop, boop. Here's the exciting stuff, guys. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're good, MG. I have missed you too. I'm doing super good too. I was joking earlier in the stream that I need to probably start learning kitchen utensil management, because I decided it was smart to try to cut a completely frozen loaf of bread, like just a slice of it. And instead of cutting the bread, I didn't cut the bread at all, but I sliced my finger really badly. So, other than that, that has been my ailment currently. And it's like, it's so funny how such a small thing, it was a deep cut, but such a small thing derails so much. Like, holy moly, I'm so glad we're doing education today and not actually experimenting, because me working one-handed is not something good. OMG. Oh my gosh. But other than that, life has been so good. It's starting to get a little more springish around here, which is super weird in February. Like, I don't know, I'm just ignoring the calendar month at this point and going with my soul feeling. Feels like it's definitely like late March right now already. Like, it feels like we're starting to almost get into April weather. But that's not happening. We're not there yet, but it's crazy. I've been enjoying that. I've been working a lot on like personal routines, and I have really been working a lot on this transition for you guys, going through so many things I didn't even think about, like bios and descriptions and links and things like that, and fixing everything, and not that there was anything wrong with them, but adjusting them right for this branding pivot and stuff like that. So that has been an interesting long process. Holy moly. Just yesterday, and this is only one of the days, right? Just yesterday, I spent over 12 hours getting everything just like smoothed out as much as I can. There's still so much behind the scenes that I have to do. But oh my gosh, it takes so long, but I love every minute of it. So that has been like my latest. That's been my latest. My goodness. And I'm really excited about this, guys. Canning month. All right. So we're going to jump into this nice and easy. Don't worry. Oh my God. Hi, Mystic. I just looked back up at chat and saw your lurk. Thank you for your lurk. It's so good to see you. Sending you love. Thank you for being here. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, you should be able to see this on the chat bar, and it doesn't look like it's coming through for some reason. I feel like the chat bar needs to be adjusted really quick. Let me fix that before we get much into this. Give me just a quick pause, guys. A quick pause, please. Sorry, it goes black when I switch over to this thing. Okay, let's see here. I would like to adjust this. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that should be working. Why does it seem like it's not popping through on here? It's not, right? You guys can't see any of the chat text on screen in that like little block. I'm just gonna put some like little test things here to see if they're showing up on there. No way. It says it's supposed to be here. Okay, let's go into the settings. Messages. They're delayed by 5 seconds, but that's not long enough to not be showing them. What the heck, guys? Okay. Hey. What? Why? Did anybody order a goblin dog? I think I might have an accident. Oh my lord. And he gets all of them going. He hears like the neighbors getting home and he gets every other dog going. Oh my goodness. I had to mute you guys so I could yell over them to tell them absolutely not. It didn't really work for long. We'll see if it did. Okay, this should be... There's nothing stopping it, you guys. What in the heck? Okay, let's just compare it to this one real quick. Make sure my settings are the same. Okay. Okay. That's the same. That's weird. It's like identical, y'all. It's identical. Oh, no, it isn't. Oh, that's just placement. Wait. These measurements aren't right. Ay. That's so strange. It should be coming up. All right. We'll fix that. I'm going to make a note of it. I'm going to, excuse me. I'm going to, did that work? I'm going to invisible it for a little bit. There we go. So we just don't worry about that for a little while. Don't worry, I'll get it fixed. These are the little kinks I have to work out. All right. Okay. Back to the program. Okay. You guys can see the pups. You can see the screen. Hey, don't bug her. Look at her like looking away. She's like, stop touching me. Okay. So, canning month. March. I know we're in the end of February, obviously, but the month of March will focus here through the month of March. Yes. We'll focus on canning. Kind of before we even get into any of that, though, that's why we're doing this before we get into the real nitty gritty of canning. We're just going to do an overview and focus on why food preservation matters. I wanted to start here specifically because preserving food is so foundational. For most of human history, food preservation wasn't optional. Right? Like we've learned this. It was survival. Refrigeration didn't exist at a certain point. There most certainly wasn't like dehydrators in the form that we know them now. But things like refrigeration didn't even become common in US homes, which this is crazy to think about, until like the 1930s, 1940s, which wasn't that freaking long ago. So before that, families and people just in general had to rely a lot on drying without the machines, right? They did it in nature. Salting, fermenting, smoking things, like by fire, obviously, because they didn't have like the smokers that we have now. They don't have like a nice Traeger that they could go throw their stuff on. And obviously we do have some of these things. So the idea is not to like necessarily go back to the Stone Ages or rewrite the will or any of those types of things, but it's just to go back to the roots and understand why it matters and how it can help us. because there was a reason that it was so wildly successful for us. And then that brings us to canning, obviously. So even today, as we've seen, like, we're kind of seeing it again now, but I was just going to say, as we've seen as recently as, you know, COVID and things like that, or when there's any real like major national type of emergency, food preservation, food supply chains, that type of stuff is far more fragile than we realize. Like in 2020 alone, just for perspective, we saw widespread shortages, right, due to like processing plant shutdowns, distribution bottlenecks, things like that. Not because the food didn't necessarily exist, but because systems are centralized. Systems there's a whole reason that they're a system, right? They rely on step A, step B, step C. You can't just like cut corners and not have these very basic processes and systems going on. But relying on those can be super fucking scary. Not to say that I don't think anyways, I don't think I'll ever be to a point in my life where I just won't rely on those type of systems. I don't think that that's like in my future. Maybe, who knows what the world's going to do, right? But I feel like sorry if that was loud, guys. I don't know how much the mic picked up, but I feel like having your own supply of certain things and no matter what, having the knowledge to do certain things is so much power. It just learning to preserve food, reduce waste, it saves money over time, which is huge. It increases your food security, of course. Like that's kind of just having some things on hand and knowing that like, oh my God, if all the power went out in the grid, you know, this month or something, or for a week or whatever, I would have enough to like get me and my family through at least a week. And so I don't think it needs to be as intense, if that's the right word, as like full on prepper. That's just me personally, to each their own. I think everyone in every different type of conscious individual will say is going to have their own idea of what excessive is or what too much is or what not enough is. But for me, it's just kind of learning those basics of like reducing waste, saving a little bit of money if I can, giving me that little bit of food security to know that like I don't have to panic if something does happen, or if, you know, I don't know, even if I was out somewhere that didn't have like the right kind of equipment to preserve food, it would be nice to take some with me that I already had, you know, or take that very basic knowledge that I have to whatever situation I'm in. And one of the biggest things for me, and this is actually kind of where I started even before I thought about like, and this might be kind of bad, I know, like, don't cancel me, please. But I didn't even really think about the waste reduction so much and the money and all of that stuff. Like, I really wanted control over ingredients. That was my biggest thing. I hate the type of crap that they are putting into food nowadays, which we will of course be talking about on this channel at length. But I just feel like having a little bit more control over some of your ingredients cannot help like harm any of us. It can only help all of us. So that was really where all of this came from. A lot of it came from me having some major allergy issues in my life a couple of years ago. If you've been here, you've kind of been on the journey with me. And it wasn't food allergies or anything like that. It was environmental allergies and allergies to fragrances that have become what they are today because they're so unmanaged, I think is the right way to say it. But they're kind of the Wild West right now, because the things like the FDA and stuff like that, they consider fragrance to be a very loose term. So anyways, learning that journey, not to get too sidetracked, but that'll be part of our journey, of course, moving forward. That was part of what made me start looking into all of this stuff, because I was like, my God, if the word fragrance or perfume or parfum or eau de toilette or whatever it's going to be, those can contain up to 250% pretty unregulated chemicals. So one or two sprays of a perfume or a cologne or a room spray or even essential oil of certain types, like we're putting so much chemicals into our body. And I've never been one that's like, I mean, I grew up on pretty processed food. Like that's just what my family could afford, and that was what they could make. That was really just what we depended on. And so like I didn't ever see control over ingredients. I didn't ever see not having to be super dependent on like grocery stores. I didn't ever see you know, what it looks like to kind of take something from its raw form and take it through the processes of, you know, fermentation or drying, smoking, canning, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyways, I think learning about all of this stuff really not only builds confidence, but just gives us a lot of competency too. So that's why we are starting with canning. So the biggest question, what is canning? We're going to break this up a little bit. Okay. So it took me a while, but the most simple definition that I could come up with for canning is, at its core, canning is a method of food preservation that uses heat to destroy microorganisms and enzymes that cause food spoilage, and then seals the food in an airtight container to prevent recontamination. So you are preserving the food with heat. The heat is destroying these microorganisms and enzymes that will cause the food to spoil. And then you are sealing it in that airtight container, sort of like preserving that item at that very moment in time, which is pretty cool if you think about it. That's really it though. Heat kills what would make you sick. Sealing just prevents new contamination, basically. So you get something that's decontaminated and then you seal it so that you can't contaminate it further. And that's what causes you to be able to leave things on your shelves, at least certain things, for years and years and years and years, which is really cool. When done correctly, and I think we've had examples of this. We've seen this in many people's houses that we've been like, oh my gosh, how do they have all that canned stuff? Or if you haven't, I'm sure you've seen it on social media where people are canning things and stuff like that. And maybe you've been a little curious. I definitely have been. But when it's done correctly, most canned food can be like shelf stable for at least a year. A lot of things can be way longer than that. But of course, the main and I want to learn how true this is, because kind of the main thing that I kept finding in my research is that the USDA recommends using home canned goods within a year. So like they don't think it's safe to use them after a year. I don't think it's safe to use certain things after a year, but I think there are certain things you can absolutely keep for quite a while. But we're gonna learn more about that. That's just something that keeps coming up, and I'm like, I just don't know. The USDA is the expert though, right? So I don't know. So let's talk about the science behind it. The acid, the heat, the time, all of that stuff. But like a simpler version of it, because it kind of overwhelms me. This is the part where I get like, oh my God, okay. So there are 3 things that determine safety in canning. You have your acidity, which is like the pH level of your item. And then you have temperature and you have time. So some harmful bacterias like Clostridium? I think it's Clostridium. Clostridium botulinum can form spores, and those spores can spread. But they can form spores that survive normal boiling temperature And the spores can grow in very low oxygen environments like sealed jars. So if the food isn't acidic enough or heated sufficiently, you can take a lot of hard work and flush it right down the toilet, because by the time you go to pop that thing open, there will be mold under the lid, which is why I have avoided canning for so long, because I have never really understood this. So, here's kind of the key number that I have learned, and it seems like the USDA stands behind this. The like National Center for Home Canning Association, I think is what it's called. And they're pretty reputable. It's like a university backed, resource. They all tend to say the same thing, and they say that foods with a pH of 4.6 or lower are considered high acid. So high acid things are going to be like, foods are going to be like, most fruits are super high acid. Properly acidified tomatoes, I learned that there's a difference between just acidified tomatoes and properly acidified, which I think we will learn about. That's a whole other thing that I was like, oh no, this is a lot. But don't worry, we're gonna break this all down and do things in a manageable fashion, I think. And then also pickled products, like, pickled onions, pickled pickles, pickled asparagus, whatever pickled things tend to be very high acid, right? I mean, it makes sense. So high acid foods can be safely processed in boiling water bath at 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. Let's add some little notesies on here. So foods with a pH, here we go. Oh, don't mind me if I can't freaking spell right now, or can't type right now, because my poor little finger's fucked up. Okay, foods with a pH of 4.6 or lower are considered high acid. Whoa. High acid foods are gonna be like most fruits. Ooh, don't do that. Properly, remember that. Acidified tomatoes. And then pickled products. Whoa, right? Okay. So, these can all be safely I really cannot use these fingers very well. Can all be safely processed. What did I say? In a boiling bath water, or in a boiling water bath. There we go. 212 100 Celsius. Okay. So, we also have low acid foods. So, those are going to be... Ooh. I wish this had like a... Can I steal this bullet point without having to do too much right now? Because that would be nice. Yes. No, don't do that. Okay. Now, low acid foods. So low acid foods are going to be things like vegetables, meats. Holy crap. It's such a dysfunction right now. Beans. And then things like most soups. Now, if you have like a fucking pickled whatever soup, I don't know. We'd have to figure out that because I don't know. But these ones are going to require like your pressure canning. So, oops. These require pressure canning. Which I think, what is it? Okay, that has to reach 240 to 250 Fahrenheit, or I think, what is it, 116. Okay, so lower acid foods are going to require pressure canning, not the boiling bathwater. You have to do a little bit more with these, which reaches 240 degrees to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, or 116 to 121 degrees Celsius. Basically needs to be hot enough to like destroy those spores. Please don't do that. Just know what I want here. No! To destroy... What are they called? Botulism spores. There we go. Well, they're not heat spores. What's the word I was thinking of? So, and this is verified, by the way. This is verified by these things here that I researched are verified by the USDA and the National Center for Home Food Preservation. So, like, these are truly what things need to be at. So that's kind of the basics of that. Now, this is why we follow tested recipes and advice of the USDA, as much as I don't love established systems in every capacity, but they kind of know they have the science behind it, right? So modern home canning safety standards are really based on like laboratory research. A lot of it comes from universities or like university extension programs, stuff like that, which is what I was finding out in my research. But the recipes that exist, which there are so many, I don't think there's any type that we would ever need that's not already existing out there. I'll just say it. Like, there are so many recipes for everything. They're tested. They're tested for, hold on. We probably should have put this. You know what? I just realized this whole chunk should probably be here. There we go. Okay. So anyways, now we're talking about the tested recipes. So I've seen a lot of people on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever be like, it's so easy, you can just wing it. And like, I just feel like that's dangerous because I don't know, do they really actually show us the result of their kind of wing it steps? I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's trustworthy, but I do know that the scientists in the literal labs say that these are supposed to be how things are done. So for the most part on this channel and in the things that we do in the experiments that we run, we are most definitely going to use safe recipes, things that are tried and true. So safe recipes are tested for things like pH. They're tested for things like density, heat penetration, jar size, processing time. I don't know if they're so much tested for elevation and things like that, which I have to worry about personally because I live in Utah. If you live in a higher elevation area, then you may also have to have these. So for a lot of the things that we are going to be discussing and researching, I'm going to have the like kind of regular elevation information, which is just standard. And then where it's necessary, we will add in some elevation stuff. And we'll actually have a segment that talks about elevation within every major umbrella that we do. So like canning, when we move on to like sourdough, and then all of the things that we do, we're going to have a section for that. So anyhow, I think the main thing is not so much just like, oh my God, we have to like be so on point with the recipe. You can't wing it. It's so scary. Like, it's not like that. I think it's just about understanding the microbiology. So we're not reinventing canning methods. We're just learning the proven ones. I'm not trying to come on here and be like, oh my God, I saw this little fad on TikTok, and it's like, we should do this. Like, for the most part, we're going to try and keep things very, very, tried and true as much as we can. Proven things. So, anyway, so today is more just going to be about, I think we can go here. I'll go like here so you guys can kind of see what we're doing. Understanding what canning is. Understanding what a water bath versus like pressure canning is, which we kind of tipped the little tip of it, but we haven't actually gone into it. And next stream we'll go deeper into like actually what water baths versus pressure canning are, the safety basics, the tools, stuff like that. But for now, just like the overall, what we've learned right now, water bath is for high acid foods. Pressure canner is for low acid foods. So water bath, high acid, pressure canner, low acid. Different foods, different rules, basically. So that is really what canning actually is. I really think it's not really what, like, I don't know, it's not aesthetic jars, it's not like Pinterest homestead fantasy. It's like, it's literally microbiology, heat, physics, and like just more intentional living, which is more of, what the channel's about now. But I think for me personally, canning feels kind of like, I don't like reclaiming something in a way. Like, it's practical. It reduces so much waste. It helps you build a pantry that you can rely on. And I think really it helps build confidence, because when we master this, it's literally going to just take us into a different like realm. I think learning this and getting the confidence of this will help us understand pretty much most other things when it comes to food and stuff. I don't know if you guys can see how freaking cute this is, but look at how sprawled out that dog is. Oh my God, I love it so much. I can't. Oh my goodness, what a little cutie. Oh, I can't. It's so precious. So precious. Okay, so we're just going to kind of review over what we just talked about. So as I said, we officially pivoted. We're moving over to lifestyle, sustainability, self-reliance, learning what we weren't taught, growing together, all of that kind of stuff. So this week is kind of transitioning channels on YouTube, which I mentioned, and then also transitioning channels behind the scenes and just making everything more cohesive and not so much like, here's ASMR and here's gaming and here's this. Like, you're gonna only find this content now moving forward. So next week, as I mentioned, we will be officially on the O.N.U.H YouTube. So just to kind of reiterate what we were talking about, why preserve food? We went over a little bit of the history of it. We talked about, 1930s, 40s refrigeration expansion, supply chain fragility, waste reduction, cost savings, ingredient control, skill building, just becoming more confident in like the things that we're doing. I didn't really have any notes for that though, but as far as just the simple definition of canning is literally heating and sealing and creating something that is shelf stable. It's very basic. It's kind of boring, but that's just the theory. I think the practice of it will be more fulfilling. The purpose of canning, as we learned, is to destroy microorganisms, inactivate the bad enzymes, and prevent recontamination with sealing. The USDA says that home canned goods are best within 1 year for quality. However, oh yeah, I wanted to look into that. Can I type on this or will this F up? Yeah, well, I made this little template, but it was like giving me grief, and then I forgot to actually go in here. So we'll just go like this. Can I make, yeah, there we go. Okay. So, and which ones are more, I don't know. We know what I mean here. Okay. Okay, so we'll look up some of that kind of stuff, because I would like to know. Can I took off all my stuff, so I can't get like I just want a highlight, man, but I don't, fine. Never mind. We're going to do this. Derp. Why wasn't I thinking of something so simple? Okay, so that got broken up now. The science. We know that there are 3 factors behind canning, or that basically are canning. Acidity. If your pH is... Why is this not translating correctly on the other page for me? Hang on, guys. Sorry. My stuff does not want to work. Here we go. Okay. We're back. My cursor was showing here on this screen with you guys, and it was also on this other screen. That wasn't good. Anyways, so we know that foods with a pH of 4.6 or lower are considered high acid, right? We learned about acidity. Those are things like fruits, properly acidified tomatoes, and like pickled products. And those are the things that can be safely processed in a boiling water bath at 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius, right? And then we have things like low acid foods, which are your vegetables, your meats, your beans, soups, stuff like that, other legumes. Those things require pressure canning, which needs to reach 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit or 116 to 121 degrees Celsius. Has to be hot enough to destroy the botulism spores. And then obviously it's going to take an amount of time as well. I believe for most things you have to leave them in either the water bath or in the pressure pressure, I don't know what that's called, we'll learn that together, but the pressure thing, those are like an hour-ish, or give or take. There's different things that are going to vary, obviously, but so definitely time will be something in that. And then the basics of Clostridium botulinum spore forming, and remember, spores, when they form, they spread everywhere. Some of them you can't even see, and they can literally just spread through the air. They thrive in low oxygen, so places like cans and jars and canned goods and such. And those things are only destroyed at 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, or 116 to 121 degrees Celsius. There we go. Whoa, my brain just did like a little skip-de-loo. So don't worry, we will make like a little cheat sheet. I'll probably do that and put like a let's do a little note for that. Whoa. Okay. So just to go over high versus low acid again. Fruits, pickles, acidified tomatoes, those things are going to be high acid. You're going to have to do those in just a water bath. So the way I kind of think of it in my brain is high acid is typically lower maintenance. Low acid is typically higher maintenance, because the acid is not doing as much of the job of preserving, right? You have to kind of add and account for that. So low acid are going to be veggies, meats, legumes, soup, stuff like that. And that's where you have to do pressure canning, which we will learn a lot more about. So why tested recipes matter, and why we're not just going to do random trends from TikTok or Instagram or whatever the latest thing is, because they are lab tested for things like density, which I don't know very much about. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't go to school for that. Heat penetration, jar size, processing time, pH stability, all of that kind of stuff. So we do not wing it. We do not modify ratios. We do not guess processing times, but we do follow USDA or extensions of USDA or BAL, which is like one of the official, not only do they make jars for canning, right, but they're also one of the official canning experts. So why are we starting here? Just as a little reminder, I think it's a very foundational skill. I think it helps build a pantry relatively quickly in the grand scheme of things, but a shelf stable pantry, which is huge. It builds confidence, because when we are able to kind of perfect or master this, like, I feel like other things are going to be a lot less scary. It reduces dependency on having to go to the store so much for things, and plus, like, shopping your pantry is so much fun. I don't know about y'all, but I love shopping my pantry. But it also just gives you practical sustainability, which is huge these days. It's nice to be a little more sustainable, not in like any type of weird way, but kind of in like a screw the system, I can do this on my own type of thing too. And being able to rely on local ingredients, local farmers, local homesteaders, things like that is, I think, a lot more valuable for us economically, socially, all the things. So anyways, to end this part of the segment, before we get into some gaming, we are going to watch this video. It is from the National Center for Home Food Preservation's YouTube channel, and this is university backed, all the good stuff. I loved this part. I'm like, no influencer fluff. I thought you guys would like it, but it isn't, right? We're not looking at TikTok, we're not looking at Instagram, we're looking at true like experts for this information, because even though it's a little more boring and it might not be so like whimsical and fun, like, it's truly what we need to learn. So next stream, we will do more of a safety deep dive. We'll talk about the tools and things like that are needed for canning, whether we're doing water bath or pressure canning, and then we will get an actual breakdown of water bath versus pressure canning, a more in-depth look at that, and then we will be planning our first simple project soon. I don't know if we're going to do something like maybe canning some beans or something like that that's not too crazy but still gives us a good picture of what like pressure canning would require. And then we will also try and do some like pickled products as well, figure out how we can, what we want to do there, which I think we can just use like vinegar and I don't know. All of those things we'll learn, but those will probably be our first projects, is something like pickled that we can, and then something like a legume or like a vegetable of sort. Probably more like a bean is, I think, what we're going to do. So let's jump over to here. If you guys are watching this on the replay, I apologize. You're going to just want to go watch this whole video because you will not get audio. So you could still watch the video with us, and you'll still hear me and my comments and things like that, but you will not be hearing the video on its own. So go really quick. Go look up this video right here. It is the food preservation, or not it's titled Food Preservation Canning Basics, and it's by Alamance County CES. Yes. It looks like her audio is kind of messed up too, so we'll see. Let's see if we have, we have captions. Perfect. Okay. Let's go full screen on this and see how bad it is then. If the audio is already not good. I didn't read that. Yay. It is a little crackly. Let's see.
I've got my setup in a different place this time.
Whoa. This wasn't this bad. What is happening?
Okay, we're live again. Hey everyone.
Is that echoing?
I've got my setup in a different place this time. So I've moved over here into my kitchen so that you can see my range behind me. We'll talk about that more in a minute and why that would impact whether or not you can at home. So
okay,
welcome back.
For me,
today we're talking about canning.
But it's definitely
I've got a lot of equipment here. We'll talk about all of that here in a few minutes. But first, again, why do we preserve food? Why do we can? So canning historically may have been more of a necessity to put up food that we grew and all of it was ripe at once and we didn't want to waste any of it. It's still a great way to
reduce. Even nowadays, like if you're gardening in any capacity, like even if it's a smaller garden, it's nice to be able to preserve your fresh harvest, because sometimes even like 1 or 2 tomato plants can give you a lot more than you need. And like, sure, it's nice to use stuff and give stuff away too, but like it's also really nice to be able to preserve it and know that you can, like, it sounds staticky to you. Really? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Because it's her audio. It's on their end. Let me listen to it too on my side while you guys are listening.
Reduce food waste by canning, among other preservation methods. So last week we talked about freezing, but what are some advantages to canning? So some pros to canning. One is that you don't have to keep it refrigerated or frozen. It can just be at room temperature. Ideally, you'll store canned food somewhere between 50 and 75 degrees. So a little bit cooler, like a true cellar temperature, right? And keeping things away from light so that light doesn't mess with the food and affect the quality, start to break down some compounds in the food. But you can store it at room temperature, which is awesome and very, very helpful. So storage is kind of unlimited based on how much pantry room you have. Another bonus to canning is that canned food stays at high quality for quite a long time. So you can use canned food for a year to about 18 months, a year and a half, but ideally using canned food within a year, with the thought process being, if you've canned one particular item, so let's take our tomatoes here that I have. If I canned tomatoes last year, then by the time my tomatoes are ripe this year, I will have wanted to eat through all of what I canned in the past year. So canned food stays at a high quality for quite a long time. If it's canned correctly, technically it's safe indefinitely, but it's the quality that starts to break down first. Okay. The other advantage of canning is that there are really deep roots in our culture, particularly here in the Southeast, here in North Carolina.
That's kind of
people who were in my position.
It doesn't, I guess it's safe indefinitely, but like it's only good for so long. That's kind of what I was thinking anyways. That makes sense.
Position 100 years ago as home demonstration agents, had the chance to teach canning to community members. So it's something that I take a lot of pride in being able to continue teaching and keeping that tradition alive. So it could be that you can with a parent or a grandparent, or you remember your family members canning when you were little, and you want to try to get back into it. So canning hasn't changed much from when your grandmother or mother might have been canning. It's the same general process that has been around for, at this point, a couple hundred of years. So glass jars, we seal it with heat. We no longer use wax, but we seal it with heat. and then food is safe. Now, science has continued to evolve, and we've learned more over time about the microorganisms that make us sick and how they work, and conditions that they like. So we have a couple different methods of canning, and we'll talk about why that is the case. So there's one foodborne illness, one foodborne pathogen that we're most concerned about with canning, and that is Clostridium botulinum. It's kind of a long name, so we shorten that to a nickname of CBOT. So CBOT.
Seapot. Seapot? I did not know that. I don't know. She does, right? They seem all in a row and very organized, Jeff. And clean.
We'll talk about why that is the case.
Meth.
So there's one foodborne illness, one foodborne pathogen that we're most concerned about with canning, and that is Clostridium botulinum. It's kind of a long name, so we shorten that to a nickname of CBOT. So CBOT causes a condition called botulism, and it's not fun. It's a pretty serious foodborne illness. It looks like a stroke because Clostridium botulinum, or CBOT, produces a neurotoxin that attacks your nervous system, and you start to be paralyzed. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, this sounds terrible. I don't want to worry about canning. Well, the good news is it's totally avoidable. The reason that CBOT is such a concern with canned food is that it likes the environment that canned food creates. So if we have a properly canned item that's been, we'll use the tomatoes as an example. They've been water bath canned, which means that they've been subjected to boiling water temperatures. And just to recap.
And remember, tomatoes can be water bathed. Why? Because if they're properly acidified, they are a high acid food. That's the reason they can be water bathed and they don't have to be pressure canned.
Boiling water is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So it's been through boiling water, it's created a seal, right? The oxygen is removed from the jar, which is
oh wait, Jeff, what's up?
How it creates this vacuum seal. Sorry, guys. So Clostridium botulinum is one of those rare microorganisms that it actually likes a low oxygen environment. It really likes the conditions inside this piece of canned food. To kill it, we need one of two things. We need a really high acid environment, or we need really high temperature, higher than boiling water. So things like most fruits, so I have some apples here that I had canned at this point a couple years ago, so now they're just for demonstration. I won't eat these. Some apples or some tomatoes, sometimes you have to acidify them, it depends. There's enough acid in there to make sure that Clostridium botulinum can't grow. It doesn't like a too acidic environment. For foods that aren't quite as acidic, so things like green beans. We don't have vinegar added to green beans unless we're pickling them. I don't know that most people aren't doing that, right? When they're making home canned green beans. So that's when we have to add in this extra step of temperature, right? So no matter how long we boil water, it will only ever get to be about 212 degrees Fahrenheit. But if we add pressure, so you can kind of see behind me, I've got two canners here with me. This black one that I realize now blends right in. This is my boiling water bath canner. It's pretty low tech. It's just a big stock pot, right? The one to the side of it is a little bit more intense. This is a pressure canner.
I definitely need to get
the addition of pressure gets us to 240 degrees Fahrenheit, which does kill
We'll have to do
off
stuff that we
any
can water
sea
bath
bot that
first,
might
and
be
then we'll
in our
work
food.
on pressure after I
So
can
it
photo.
makes sure that
They shouldn't be
low
too crazy.
acid foods like most
I've
vegetables,
seen
things
many
like green
affordably
beans,
priced
you
on
can even
Amazon.
can meat, which is kind of wild. Things like that get to a safe temperature, and then we don't worry about Clostridium botulinum in our canned food. So you may think, well, I've never heard of anybody getting CBOT, and my grandmother always canned green beans in the water bath. It's the kind of thing that's rare, but it's not something we want to take a chance on. So anytime that you're canning a low acid food, or really just in general, anytime you want to can something, you want to check to see, does it need to be water bath canned, or can it be water bath canned, or does it have to be pressure canned? So as far as references or resources to help you figure out what's the safe way to can something, Georgia Cooperative Extension puts out this excellent book called So Easy to Preserve. This is sort of the
I literally saw this
canning Bible, so to speak. And they are kind of in the extension world, they're sort of the authority on canning. So we look to them. They have in this book pretty much,
like, it would be kind of nice to have just like a reference point like that for everything that's not just the internet, because like, what if you don't have Wi-Fi right then, you know? Or like, what if the power's out? Or I don't know, like I said, if the grid goes out and it's out for like a little bit and you want to know things but you can't necessarily use your phone as easily or whatever, I don't know.
Anything you could ever possibly can or preserve, and the instructions on how to safely do it. So each recipe is a tested recipe, which means that there have been scientists in a lab checking the amount of acidity or the pH of a food, checking to see if additional ingredients throws off that pH, if the amount of time matters for bigger jars versus smaller jars, and oftentimes it does. They have thought of every variable and they've checked every variable. So you know that anything in here is safe. The nice thing about Extension is that we like to share as much of our resources as possible. So they've also shared most of what is in this book, if not all of it, on the National Center for Home Food Preservation website.
Which we
so in the chat over to the side, the live chat,
and we'll be
I went ahead and put that link in there so that you can go to that page and bookmark it. If you're ever doing anything canning and you're wondering, how should I can this? There are recipes there. There are frequently asked questions. There's all kinds of stuff to help you get through the process. There's, the procedure for how do I do a water bath? How do I use my pressure canner? So they have all of those resources there. Because if we did a video on that, we'd be here all day. It's very long. So this is just sort of the quick and dirty, the real fast, basic introduction to all of this. You see that I have a lot of equipment here. Another kind of drawback to canning that something like freezing has an advantage over is that it does require a good amount of equipment. So I've already introduced you to my two canners. Again, the black is the water bath canner. This kind of gray or silver one is my pressure canner. So in a water bath canner, it is essentially just a big stock pot.
Gray or silver, not stainless steel, but gray or silver. Made me laugh. That's something I would say. We definitely have to get those though. I have stock pots, but like I like those for my, like I use those a lot for cooking. I don't know, I need to research more, figure out what I want.
But to keep the jars from resting right on the bottom of the pot, there's this rack down in there, and I'll pull it out and show you. This is what the rack looks like. And the other nice thing about it is you can kind of lower your jars in, pull them back out. You can make a second layer if you have a second rack. You can have a second layer of jars processing if they're small enough, like half pint jelly jars or something.
That's really cool to know, actually.
You don't have to have a canning specific water bath canner. You can buy, and just as a disclaimer, anything I'm showing you, it's not that I'm recommending one product over another. It's just these are the products that I have on hand. But anything that you can find, really any brand will work just fine. So this I got, it's a little canning rack that you can put in your canner or in just a regular stock pot and kind of create a canning pot.
That's
so you
cool.
see the picture here in the bottom where they've taken just a large stock pot, put this silicone rack down in the bottom, and you create a canner that way. It's pretty cool. The pressure canner on the other
actually a good idea. Maybe I'll
side
do that for the first bit.
Is a bit more intense.
Pressure, yeah, I feel like
I'll bring it up to show you.
Can't wing it.
There are two kinds of pressure canners. This is a weighted gauge. So you can see it has a weight. It has three elements of the weight. And that's just because of altitude. So you need a certain amount of weight depending on where you are. Here in North Carolina, for the most part, I don't think up in the mountains would change all that much. It tends to be fairly low elevation. We just need 10 pounds of pressure. So we can take off one of those rings and we're good to go. 10 pounds of pressure. And I'll do a follow-up video just on pressure canning in case you're thinking, wait, you're going too fast.
I think
again, this is just a really quick overview of all of it.
Check all my stuff.
But there's a lot more to do.
But I'm going to make sure it doesn't have the same audio issue. Because this one, I swear it didn't. Maybe I clicked on the wrong version of it. I don't fucking know. Ugh.
Dig into with pressure canning, especially. So I'll do another video on that. But weighted gauge, the other kind that you might have seen is a dial gauge, and it's a true, shows the pounds of pressure on a dial. If we're canning here, and at least here in Alamance County, we're looking for 11 pounds of pressure on that dial gauge. So might depend on where you are and your elevation. Again, that website, the National Center for Home Food Preservation, has a good article or a good explanation of what the pounds of pressure are depending on where you live and what elevation you live at. Because
we'll be looking at that.
Affects that.
We're gonna be talking about that
so that is our weight. And then the lid itself is kind of complicated. So we've got our weight. I'll go ahead and pull that off. This is where our steam comes out, right? So our steam comes through this valve, and we cover up that steam valve to build up the pressure in the canner. On the underside here, and before I flip it over, I'll show you, there are some safety mechanisms to a canner too. So don't be turned off by canning just because you're worried about a pressure canner exploding. The ones that they make these days are much safer. So don't worry too much about that. This is the lock. So just like with something like an Instant Pot or another kind of pressure cooker or multi-cooker, this is going to pop up when the pressure is significant enough in the canner that it would be unsafe for you to open it. So it locks the lid and keeps you from opening it and potentially really hurting yourself. And just as a safety, there's this little safety valve over here that's just this little rubber valve that would pop up if the pressure is too high in the canner. It'll pop out and the pressure will come back down in the canner and you're good to go. The thing about a pressure canner is because there are more parts, like this little rubber valve,
we're going to get unscared together.
Gasket on the inside that helps make sure that the seal is good so the pressure can build. Those rubber parts do wear out. So you want to replace them regularly. And actually Presto, the maker of this canner, recommends every other year. It's the kind of thing that it kind of depends on how well you take care of your canner. But if you inherited a canner, I get a lot of people come into the extension office and ask me, if you inherited a canner from a family member, or maybe you bought it at a yard sale for super cheap or something, you're probably going to want to replace those parts. Thankfully, they're pretty cheap to replace, which is good.
Dang, every other year, though, to replace those, like... That's probably not crazy, honestly. I'm sure it's not that expensive, but it's just like, wow, I wonder how many other people know about that. And I don't want to fuck around with something like that deals with that kind of pressure. Like, okay, you say every other year to replace it. Great, I'm doing it.
But if you have questions about it and want to check, bring it into the extension office. We can talk about it. Another reason to bring it into the office, if you have a dial gauge, so I don't have an example of one with me, but it's one that looks like it just has a dial up top here. Those need to be tested each year for accuracy. So bring that into the extension office too, and I can test it for you once we're coming back to normal with things and social distancing. So, but once that's done, and I'm sure canning season will be in full swing, we'll all want to check our gauges to make sure that those
Chat, do you remember social distancing? Oh my god, so crazy.
are good to go. The advantage to a weighted gauge is that you never have to check it. It's kind of like the simplicity is it's pro because it's never going to change. You never have to worry about recalibrating it. So weighted gauges, in my opinion,
that's cool.
might be a little bit more, might be a little better. But both work fine, weighted or dial. It's all up to personal preference. Now, the kind of equipment that you buy or have on hand for a canner is important, but actually your stove is a really important piece of equipment too. So you can see, maybe you can see, I have an electric coil stove here at my house. People who have electric coil, gas stoves, those are safe to can on. This is where I feel like I break the bad news to a lot of people. Glass ranges or smooth top ranges typically are not safe to can on. And that's because the pressure that builds up and the amount of just the weight. Think about how this canner, this water bath canner,
I have a glass top, so does that mean I need to get like a separate, like just a burner on its own that does that? What does that mean, chat? We're learning new things together. Glass tops are no good for canning, apparently. Yeah, now I need to know what to use. Okay.
Full of food in glass jars and water, right? So it's really heavy. And you're heating it up to a pretty high temperature too. It can crack the surface of a smooth top range. So do check with your stove's manufacturer, see if it is considered safe to can on your stove before ever trying to start. And if not, maybe you have a friend or a family member who has an electric coil or a gas range, and you can convince them to let you come over and use their stove. Electric coil works fine. Gas is superior just because it can heat up much faster. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Equipment that I have here, other than my canners and my stove. So you can see I've got two sizes of jars. So this is actually, canned food that I have in my pantry. This is tomatoes from this past summer. So jarred tomatoes in a pint jar. And this is a quart jar. So it kind of depends on what you are interested in canning and how much you want to use at one time, as far as what you're going to do already, size-wise. So really think about that. Most recipes will give you directions for processing 4 pints and then slightly modified directions for quarts. The reason being there is that the amount of time it's going to take for heat to go all the way through this jar is less than the amount of time it's going to take to penetrate through this jar and through all the food that's in there, because there's more volume here. So do pay attention to those changes in the processing times. Usually it's just extended processing time for a quart, but don't skip over that, and make sure if you find a recipe that it matches the size of the jar that you're using. Another consideration is the opening of the jar. So we talked about it a little bit last week with freezing, but you've got a regular mouth jar, and this is going to be hard to see really, and a wide mouth jar. You can kind of see that the wide mouth is much wider and almost creates straight edges. At least on a pint jar, it really does. On a quart, it's close to straight edges. And it's easier to get your hand in and out to put food in. Generally, I prefer wide mouth jars. That's just me.
I thought in my very rudimentary beginners, right, research here, I thought that I read that you can't use the one she has in her hand now for canning. Like, it doesn't can the right way. But she's just saying it's a preference thing. I swear that they said that it doesn't can properly if you use one style over the other. So this is interesting to me. Okay.
But also note that the lids are different. So a wide mouth jar is going to have a bigger lid than a regular mouth jar. When you're buying lids and bands, you want to pay attention to that and know which jars are you going to be buying for, because you wouldn't want to buy a wide mouth lid for a regular mouth jar, right? So a little bit more terminology before we move on from that. So this is a band and this is a lid. These are two pieces of a canning lid, right? But we refer to the flat piece as a lid. This is not reusable, and it's because of this compound that's around the edge here, that's kind of rubbery almost, and it's a sealing compound, and when heated in the canner, it helps create a more consistent, clean, successful seal. So once they've been used, they can't be used again. So lids we discard, and that's okay too. Because
I did not know that, guys. I really didn't. I knew that it was acted as a sealant because I've inadvertently learned that through other errors of my own. Like heating it too hot and realizing it was stuck on there. But anyways, like, that doesn't matter. But I did not realize like that it was a one-time use thing. I guess I don't know. I guess it makes sense because it has to pop up in a certain way, and then once, right, like when you open it, it pops up and breaks the seal. So I guess that makes sense. That's okay. Okay, we're learning things. We're learning. You didn't know either? Yeah, I had no idea. Seals, these lids are a one-time use, but not the band. It's just the lid itself. Although I'm guessing the lids and the bands are sold together. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see.
because we're gonna label the lid, right, with whatever the food is that we've made. Lids we discard. Bands you can use as many times as you want. The thing is, over time, usually they'll start to rust a little bit.
Yeah,
so
we've seen that. I've seen
try to monitor that, and don't use bands that are rusty, because the rust can cause quality issues, at least in our food. We don't want that to happen. You can actually store canned food without the rings, or without the band.
So she's almost saying it like it's maybe not an optional thing, but from what I've heard, you're not supposed to store them with the bands at all. And she's saying you can do it. Like, maybe she'll probably like explain it a little more, but I've learned that you're not supposed to store it with those, and that you're only supposed to use those for the canning process, and then it's back to just this, which I thought was weird because I've always thought that you kept the band, the ring, whatever with it, but I guess then you never know and don't find out if you have any loose lids or anything like that because the band's holding it down, and then it can obviously, if you don't know that, then you could end up using or opening a can that is like rotten, not raw. Wow. Maybe raw too. I don't know. Just, the pop is not the reason. Yeah. It's the rubber seal on the lid. Yeah, that expires. Absolutely. You should have the bands when storing. No, I've seen a lot of resources say you're not supposed to use the bands in storage. Let's see what she says. I don't know.
I should say. So band, jar, the seal is between this lid and the jar. It has nothing to do with the band. The band just kind of holds that lid in place during processing. But as soon as we take a jar out and let it cool down as part of the processing time, then it's okay to store them without the bands. So, in fact, it's recommended at this point. We know more, as I said, we know more now, science-wise.
Okay, it is. It's recommended at this point, she says. Yes. I was seeing more people just talking about that in forums and in random things about canning. So I'm very interested to learn a little bit more about that too. Can tell, yeah, you can tell by the pop if it's sealed for sure. But there's other reasons for it too. But yeah, it's supposedly it helps you learn right away if your canning process sealing worked or not.
Than we did even 15, 20 years ago, and we're learning more every day. So you can buy sets of lids and bands together. These are regular mouth lids with rings. You can also buy them in just these little packs. This one is ball, it's just one that I have, but you can buy generic brands, you can buy whatever. They all work fine. But the lids can come on their own, just so you're not buying bands every single time, especially if you're going to replace the bands, or
Nice.
You're going to replace the lids but not the bands, right?
Yeah,
you're going to reuse the
idea.
bands. And you don't want to have hundreds of lid and band combinations on hand at all times. Just buy what you need, And then it's cheaper this way too, to just buy lid replacements instead of the whole thing. When you're canning food, there are a couple utensils that are particularly helpful, and I know we're running way over time. I apologize. This is a long one, guys. Jar, right? We have a funnel to help get our food in that jar. Pour the food in. And then this is a bubble tool. So it helps. It's kind of a thin spatula. You can see once our food is in the jar, we're going to kind of take the bubble tool and check to see if there are any bubbles and release all those air bubbles.
Ooh,
So we have a consistent, product all the way down through. The other end of this is a ruler, and that's to measure headspace. And that's just the space, the amount of air between, or the amount of space, not really air, the space between the top of the food and the top of the jar. It depends on what food you're doing, but you want a consistent headspace across all the food that you preserve, because you want your food to cook evenly, right? And to be processed evenly.
Oh, okay. Learning new things all over the place today. I did not know that you wanted consistent headspace across all of the foods you're preserving so that they're heating up equal. This makes so much sense. Okay. It really does make sense that it needs to be uniform.
So we measure it, wipe the rims to make sure that the rim of the jar is clean. Throw our lid on there. Get our band on there so it's seated correctly. And then to get our food safely in the canner, we have this jar lifter, okay? So the jar lifter hooks around the rim of the jar, and then you can safely deposit the jar into the canner. Okay. Things that do not work canning-wise. We do not recommend doing them. They don't create consistent seals, and they're not safe. We don't want to boil jars and then flip them upside down to seal them. That's not a recommended way to preserve food anymore. We know that the seals are not consistent. So the recommendation instead is to just use a boiling water bath canner, or creating kind of a boiling water bath canner with the use of a rack. Boiling the jars underneath the water for a certain amount of time, depending on the recipe, right? A tested recipe. Then taking the jars back out of the canner, letting them sit in a draft-free zone. And the key is to leave them undisturbed for a solid at least 12 hours, but ideally like a whole day. The thought there is that the processing is still happening as the jar cools down. So the processing time in the canner is important, and the processing time of the jars cooling down is just as important to create that seal and make sure that everything happens as it should. So you will start to hear the popping of the lids, but for both methods, the cool down process is really important. So having a landing zone, whether it's, to the side of your canner, away from little grabby hands or, pets or anything that could disturb your canned food, because you wouldn't want to have worked so hard to can something and then the process get disturbed very late in the game. So thinking about that, that's important as well. Again, once you've canned food, once it's safely cooled down all the way, you can remove the bands and store them just like this. Remember, before you store, to write on the lid what the food is, that's important, and when you did it. So the date, even just the year can be helpful if you know, well, tomatoes always come in, at this time, so I know that last year's tomatoes came in around that time. So my jar says canned tomatoes, summer 2019, and that just helps me know that I need to use these really before summer gets really kicked up. So do label your jars, label what you've got in there, and then you can put them away in your pantry and you're good to go. And you've got food that you can access really at any time that you yourself put up. So it's really exciting. If anyone has any questions, you can throw it in the chat. And if not, that's okay. We can
I love it.
Wrap up for today because I know it's been a little long.
Yeah, I feel like we have a journey ahead of us, but I feel like getting a little bit more sustainable, having a little bit more control over the ingredients that we're using, having a little bit more just autonomy when it comes to kind of food access in general, it can't hurt anybody, and having some confidence when it comes to these processes that are somewhat daunting, honestly. It scares me learning about this stuff because I've just seen so many horror stories. I'm always like, oh, I want to mess this up. So yeah, I think it'll help us with a lot of things. I'm excited about it. We're going to take a quick break. We don't have too much time to play Stardew, but we're still going to play just a little chunky of it. So quick breaky time. Stretch your little leggies and such. And get yourselves, excuse me, a little drink or a little snack if you need one. Whatever your thing is. Go do that. And I shall do the same. I'm going to get our game pulled up. And stand up and stretch just a little bit. Because I've been sitting down for 2 hours. Uh-oh. And then we're going to talk about Stardew for a second because I'm really excited. I don't know if you guys watched the 10-year anniversary video today from Concerned Ape, the dev, but it is so cool. It is so cool. I'm really excited about it. Okay. Give me just a minute. Excuse me. I got the sniffles today, guys. All right. We'll be right back. Okay. We are back. I wanted you to see how cute the pups were, like, roughhousing for a second, but they just popped right off of the camera screen. Never mind. Back to the game. So much cuteness. All right. Let's load her up, shall we? Ooh. We need to switch our things over real quick. There we go. This one. Yes. I almost clicked the wrong one for us again. We would have been on a whole different farm and been so confused. Ooh, look at our Carmen Sandiego hat. Hey. Okay. Oh, winter. All right. Let's get some stuff done. First and foremost, have to go love on the cat. Okay. Yes. Aw, buddies. They have enough technically, but this just makes sure. We need to get some more aminals. Yes, we do. Oh my, can you guys hear my dog? I don't know if the mic's picking that up, but she is demanding. Ooh, I can't play so fast with my fingers all messed up, guys. It's kind of weird. I definitely cannot play any regular video games. Holy moly. Holy moly. Okay. You can jump up there. Go ahead. Jump. Ooh. Oh, don't do that, please. Please don't. No, not that either. Don't eat that. Okay, let's go. Do I have any other seeds? It's 22nd. Wild winter seeds. How long do those take, guys? Let's see. Stardew. 7 days. Nope, we don't have enough time for those. Okay. Let's just leave it unless we find powder melon along our journeys, because I believe powder melon is like 5 days, 4 days, something like that. Okay, let's go over here. The last thing I remember us doing was planting all these trees. Hell yeah. And then we were like creating a little area over here. Do I remember this correctly? Yeah, we put some tappers out. Okay. Yeah, we did some tappers. We did one here. Is that one? Let's get rid of these. They already want to grow more over here. Oops. Maybe this will eventually just kind of, we'll just let it fill in and be what it is. And then we'll have this area over here that we planted. We'll have that be more like, what do you call it? Like a... I'm gonna move Roxy's cute little camera for a minute here. Where should we put it? Right there. Anyways, because then we can just put our tappers over there and they'll be closer to us. But for now we have one here. Is that one? I can't fucking tell. We need to get rid of some of these, which is fine because we need wood anyway. So let's do it. Give us our wood, don't take it. Damn it, you stole those 3 from me. Yes. You gave me 2 of those at least. Sheesh. Is there one on here? I don't think so. We're gonna go this direction. Okay. I feel like it's gonna fall. Oh, thank God. I was like, I feel like it's gonna fall in the water. Yay. Thank you, kindness. Okay, nothing up here to deal with right now. Nothing in our tappers anyways. I just wanted to see what we had going on. That needs to go to Gunther. This needs to go to Clint. Speaking of, I said we were going to talk about the 10-year anniversary update. If y'all didn't watch it, there are some spoilers here. So if you don't want to hear this, I suggest that you fast forward, okay? Or you just stop listening for a minute if you're listening live, okay? Warning, warning. If you were planning to watch the 10-year Stardew anniversary video on your own and don't want to get a spoiler, then don't listen for a minute. I'm waiting. Okay. All right. Coast is clear. So, they have 2 new marriage candidates for this update that's coming up for Stardew Valley in honor of their like 10-year anniversary. And the 2 new marriage candidates are someone I have been asking for forever and I'm so excited about, which is Clint. I'm so stoked, who we're going to see right now. And then Sandy is the other one. I don't know who Sandy is, or I just like don't remember. I don't know Sandy. So anyways, we have new marriage candidates coming, and then there's some other stuff going on in the updates as well, but that'll be exciting. Super exciting. Okay, now we're done talking about it so that anybody who didn't want the spoilers doesn't have to hear it on accident. Okay, let's see. What all do we have to take to Gunther? Probably like nothing. Only a couple of things, right? Let's go take these over to him. Grab this. Ooh, we got a freaking perch. I will be very grateful for that. Thank you kindly. Ooh, this even hurts my like finger, guys, just trying to play this chill game. Maybe I need a controller. I almost said console. I guess that too. Maybe I need a controller. Okay. See ya. Bye. Alright, let's check out the beach. I realized we didn't milk our cows, by the way. I forgot. So we have to go back and do that in a minute. We also need to set up some bait in these crab pots. Remember how this guy told us we weren't ready yet for love? What are we at though? We have a lot with Leah. 7. Oh shit, we just walked past her a second ago. Oops. Sorry, Leah. I don't think we have anything that we can give her that is worthy of her majesticness. I have no clue where she is. Did she go to the pub? Nope. Bye. See ya. It's Monday. Shit, I don't remember where the hell she is today. I don't remember. Let's see if she's in Pierre's. Yes. I love the way everything looks when it's covered with fresh snow. You're on the... Don't do me like that. Oh my god, you're not even gonna talk to me more. Can I give her any of these things? Let's see. I just don't want to piss her off. I don't have any truffles or anything that fancy, but like, oh my god. She'll take Holly. This is Holly, right? Oops. Yeah. This is a really nice gift. Okay, I guess I can't talk to you for another fucking day. See you later. That's so sad. I like panicked to try and find a gift just so I can have one more interaction with the love of my life. She also likes driftwood though, so that's kind of surprising. She's like, I like goat cheese and wine, but like also driftwood. Yes. Although in real life though, driftwood is quite nice. So I guess I guess if you're going by those standards, it makes sense. Driftwood in this game though is kind of like just garbage. It's literal waste. I'm back. I know. Sorry, I forgot to do this. Okay. Excuse me. See ya. Pardon me. Yep. I need to go make some stuff in here real quick. Okay. What's in here? I don't remember. Fancy things. Okay. Let's check this out. I have another, if you guys didn't already know by now, or if you hadn't already heard, I have other saves. Oops, / didn't see because I showed you in the beginning. I have other saves in this game, and so I sometimes tend to forget where everything is and stuff like that because I confuse the games. So I'm like, wait, was this my other farm or this farm? I don't know. I don't fucking know anymore. How is acorn and stuff not in this one? Okay, well, you're gonna be. What the hell? Probably used it all, I'm guessing. Okay. Let's put this guy in here. And then we're just gonna leave a couple tools and go head to the mine. Okay. And we need, hold up, I wanna just check this. We haven't done anything for the pantry. We've done some for the crafts room. Okay, we have a lot of stuff to get done. We need just more materials, like in general, y'all. More materials. Ooh. Back and forth whiplash. I don't remember if we've checked this within the day. We sure have. Okay. Now we can confidently-ish leave. We've got it. Nope. There we go. Maybe we do. Alright, we need more minerals. We need more money, just in general, for mining. So hopefully we have some good success, y'all. And please pray for all the trees in town to grow because we need more wood. And it's like, we cannot keep up with the demand on this. What is this map called? Will it tell me what my house is? I don't think it tells me. Okay. Because that would be quite cool, honestly. But I guess it's not going to happen. Let's do this. Can you hear these little shits? I don't think we'll ever be mining on this stream. But definitely some of the other things involved in this game we will be doing. Like making cheese and mayos and stuff like that for sure. So I still feel like this game is quite aligned with where the channel's headed. But we won't be gaming as much anymore, you guys. Isn't that gonna be crazy? Don't worry, we will still do like the occasional games and stuff like that, but there's gonna be a whole lot less. Yay, I got some more iron. Let's get this over here. Get over here, bat. Oh, this gun is awful. I think we get a new gun in a couple levels of the mine here. Maybe it's closer to 100. Did I say a new gun? New sword. Did I say a gun? What did I say? Please face the right direction. No, you little shit. These guys. This knife is awful. Sword, knife, whatever it is. Is it officially? It's rusty sword. Okay. Bruh. It is one of the worst though. I mean, thankfully we have it, but like, my God, it is awful. Oh my goodness, just die already. Excuse me, holy moly. Okay. Caught some wood, that's nice. Yeah, no, we need that at this point. We're just so out of like basic, oh my God. No, thank you. Oh, it hurt me. We're going back. I don't want to deal with that. That was like a kindergartner class that took a bunch of sugar or something. I don't know. I don't like it. Hey, okay. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. We got a coal for that. Best thing to do is get these. Oh my God, if my guy would do it right, is. Oh, not that. Is to get these guys trapped and cornered. Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to deal with them. That's an immediate no. No fucking thank you. Oh, he mad. Turn it this way. Thank you. Oh gosh. You need to die. Where did that bat go? So there was one coming over here. Ba ba boom, ba boom. There he is. Here he is. And there he is. Oh God. Ooh, I need to eat something. Oh shit. Takes so long to kill with this sword. This rusty sword. Okay. Wow, we need to get the hell out of here because it's 1 a.m. Run! Oh God, get stuck on rock immediately. Get home! Get home! Run! I blame this partially on my finger, not my bad understanding of time, okay? It's my hurt finger. I sliced this shit, okay? It's bad. Oh God, 1:30, 1:30, 1:30, 1:30, 1:30. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm scared. Oh God, no, take me home. Oh, I'm gonna die before I even get to my bed, but we made it. We made it home, guys. So proud of us. We decided to sleep on the floor tonight. Wow, we made like no money. Shit. It's okay though. It's winter. We're also storing some stuff up, and then we're gonna be cashing it in for the big bucks. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's go see what's up. We got some stuff ready down here. Nice, nice. Okay. Okay. And then, oh, we need to get our things back that I just shoved in there on accident. Oops. Gotta go see our kitty after we see these cute little chickens. Feed these babies. Give this kitty some love. Okay, don't do that. Yeah, do that. Much better. There we go. Ooh, cool. Wait, have we already given all of our gifts to her? No, we can still do a chanterelle, which she loves. Let's do it. Okay. There we go. Oh, definitely not in the right place for that. Come in here. Okay. Let's go visit. Also, oh shit, Marnie's not open until Wednesday. I was gonna say we should just go get some more farm animals. But we cannot. Should I take some shit to sell to Pierre? What do you think? We honestly don't have a whole lot of extra anything right now. We're still so like new in this farm. Alright, let's actually go this way and see if we can catch Leah. It's still kind of early-ish. She could still be here in her thing, but I think she's not here. Damn it. Okay, let's go talk. Let's go find her. Don't let her see me checking all the garbage cans for treasures. Don't let that happen. Okay. Ooh. That's scary news for us. Garbage can. Yeah. Don't we already have one of those, guys? I'm pretty sure we traded our garbage cap for this one. Where is beautiful Leah? I don't remember. Let's go look in Pierce. Ooh, we got some carrot seeds. Okay. That'll be nice for spring. Where are you? Okay, let's see where she is. Winter.
Simon_mindset just resubscribed for 52 months. Less than 3.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful angel Simon. Thank you so much for your resub. Also, hi. How are you, my love? How's everything going? Thank you so much for your resub. 52 months in a row is insane. That is no small feat. No small feat by any means. So please don't be sorry. You're totally good. I'm glad that you caught me before I went offline so I could say hi to you at least. I mean, we talk other, but you know what I mean? Like say hi to you in real time. Hi. Oh no, you've had a horrible day. What's wrong? I'm sorry. I nearly choked right there. Oh, I hate that. I'm sorry you have had a horrible day. Oh, fuck. Wow. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's going to be much more talking about this after, but like, oh no. Ugh. Damn it, I'm so sorry, Simon. If I could give you the most giganticest hug in the world right now, I could. So I can't, so I'm gonna give you a gigantic virtual hug. I'm so sorry. Damn it. Oh, that's not what I was expecting. And I'm sure you either. Shit. I'm sending you all my love, my sweet Simon. Everybody out there, put a little bit of love into the world. Sprinkle it, okay? My sweet sigh. Oh, wow. Okay, shit. Just like that quickly. Damn it. Ugh. Well, that's a bummer also. Like, hello communication maybe a little would be nice. That's quite unfortunate. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I'm sure we'll be chatting more about this, especially when you feel ready. But like, oh my god. Ugh. What a pain in the ass. There's so much more to that, and there's so many layers. Yeah, like at least a little communication, like something. Wow. I'm quite shocked, honestly. Like I really am. Like that's really truly not anything close to what I would have ever expected you to say. Damn it. Ugh, I'm sorry, Simon. Sending you so much love. This is a to be continued conversation, but oh my god, what a lot in common. Oh no. Ugh, that sucks though. Like, there's nothing, regardless of the situation at hand, there is nothing like just fully being disregarded in that way and like not talked to at all about that when you have a role, like an existing role that's has been established. It's been that way for a while. Like, oof, damn it. I'm sorry. I just have to say I'm sorry a lot because I know. Ugh. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. Yikes. And you don't deserve that. I'm sorry. You have so many amazing qualifications and qualities and just so many talents and things that that's not something that you can just replace like that in 5 minutes either. Ugh. I just can't say it enough. I wish I could give you the biggest hug. I really do. Okay, so she should be... Okay, let's see. She should be in her cottage, but it was locked, wasn't it? Robin, what are you doing? Okay, see you. Try to talk to these people at least a little bit. Ugh. Lesson learned, but like, I mean, that sucks. That's not a lesson that anybody thought or should have happened or should be a thing, or just so many things. I have so many things to say about that. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Listen, the vibe sometimes has to be brought down when matters are that important, okay? That's just how it goes sometimes. I'm sorry and appreciate you sharing. Ugh, just sucks. Wait, I just ran past Leah's house like I'm not even gonna go talk to her? Fucking rude. So rude. Okay, let's go back and see if she'll let us in now. She locked us out earlier. Please never shut up. At all. Ugh. Stream has been good though. We spent longer than what I had planned, which is okay, on learning the basics of canning and such. So we're a little bit late, but it's okay. We're about to end here in a minute anyway. But it even though it went longer, it was good. It was very educational. It was lovely learning some of the basics, like all the things, you know, all the things. I love that. You are a class act just in general, so I'm truly sure that that's all that it is and how it's received. A kind and diplomatic message. Oh, dang. Wish all the best. Good for you. I wouldn't expect anything less of you because you're just an upstanding, amazing human. But that doesn't make it any less difficult, and I'm feeling all the feels for you. I'm feeling all the feels right now for you. My heart, my little heart. Yeah, you should. It's quite interesting, and we are going to continue it. So like we did the beginning of 101 today, and then we will finish the like next one. We'll not finish, but we'll like continue it. There we go, on next stream. So we'll kind of finish parts of what we were talking about and then also expand on them as well. So we'll do a little bit of a recap. Oh no. The fuck. And that's how you figure it out. I was thinking like maybe, wow, I'm kind of stunned. I thought it would have been a message like, hey, this is what's happening, or like, wow, what the fuck. Oh man. Nothing like some great communication. Poor Leah keeps talking about how cold she is in her cabin and she's alone and she snuggles up in a blanket. Like, why can't we do that together, Leah? I love you. Here you go. This makes my birthday feel special. It's her fucking birthday today. Oh my god. Bro, it is so good that we went there today. No fucking way. Where's our calendar? Don't we have a calendar somewhere in here? Like of people's like special things? Or am I tripping? I swear we did. Okay, anyways, goodbye. We love you. Ooh! Dogs are gonna be crazy for a minute, guys, so I'm muting you, okay? Okay, they've calmed a bit here. Okay, we got to see Leah on her birthday. We got our products from these guys. Let's see, let's change these out. We're gonna end an early day here. I know that's kind of unheard of. I don't normally do that in Stardew, but because Delone has just arrived home with food and I need to eat real quick and see him out because he has to leave here in just a moment. So we'll do this. Is there anything else out here that I needed to do? I don't remember. Oh, no. We didn't deal with the kitty. What the hell? How did we do that? I swear we did. Maybe we did and she drank it that fast? No way. Right? Like, that would be crazy. Make sure these guys have food and stuff. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we're good. All right, guys, we are going to end the Stardew day quite early. It's a little premature. It's only 2:30 p.m. Can you imagine? But don't worry, we will play this again. We'll probably end up playing this tomorrow since we didn't play very much of it today. And then tomorrow we have also a continuation of canning. We'll talk a little bit more about we'll talk a little more in depth about pressure canning and water bathing. And then we will also do a little bit of discourse on the tools and things like that, and talk about some of the first projects we're going to attempt. So I'm quite excited for this. I can't wait to continue the journey. Remember, we're here on this YouTube channel, for obviously today's stream and then tomorrow's stream. And then next week we will be changing over to the whoops, nope, that's not what I meant to copy and paste in here. Let's try that again. That's what we learned in stream today. That's what we were typing today. This is what we want, though. Make sure you guys come join us. I'd love to see you there. That's where the primary channel will be. That's where all of the streams will be starting next week. And then we'll have like occasional one-off streams on this channel as well. But don't worry, I will post and advise and talk about this many places. So, okay. Love you guys. Adore you guys. My sweet Simon, we have so much more to talk about. My God. Go give Leah a cuddle. I freaking love that. Oh my God. Ugh, you're my favorite though. Seriously. Tomorrow I am live at 8. Hold on. No, that's not right. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Wow. I had to really do the math there and think hard about that for a second. Tomorrow, aka Friday, we will be live on Twitch and Kick and YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So come, right? Am I thinking of that right? Yeah, because today was 6. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Anyways, I can't wait to see you guys. Come bring in the weekend in the right way. We'll talk and do some education, and then we'll play some more Stardew. All right. Love you guys. Can't wait to see you guys again soon. Take good care of yourselves and stay tuned for even more of the pivot and all of the good things. I know, I love that. Being able to have earlier streams means a lot more you can tune into. Simon can be here before bed, like, all the good things. Okay, I freaking love you guys. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.